don't tell anyone, but I sort of sneak about, not just to see my old stomping ground, but to see the reaction of fans from around the world. So any chance of me getting too big for my boots was not going to happen. It doesn't matter whether I was in the Harry Potter films or not, I still wasn't allowed to sit on the couch or use the TV remote, so kept me grounded.
Here with Tom Felton at Warner Brothers Studios for the launch of the brand new Harry Potter Mandrakes and Magical Creatures feature. Tom, what does this new feature provide Potterheads all over the world?
Welcome, first of all, yeah. The studio tour has been second home for me, and it seems to just keep going from strength to strength. But yeah, this is a set. Right now we're in Professor Sprout's greenhouse, which I stood in for the first time about 20 years ago. And yeah, it's nice to be back, and it's exactly as I remember it. Every painstaking detail is precisely as I left it.
20 years on, like you say, you're back stood here.
Yeah.
Did you ever think that Harry Potter would have the longevity that it does?
No, I mean, no one did really, and I think we still get surprised. Someone asked me the other day, when did it sink in? It's still sinking in, that it's still so popular. Certainly couldn't have convinced us 20 years ago when we stood here for the first time that we would be having this chat all these years later. So it's pretty special.
I mean, my mum used to read me the books when I was a kid, so I didn't think I'd ever be doing this as well. But
it's surreal for both of us.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're talking about 25 years since the Philosopher's Stone was first published in text form, and yet Harry Potter remains. There's no sign that it's dwindling in popularity at all and only growing. Why do you think it's still so popular?
It's an impossible question, and believe me, we've asked it a few times. It has to always come down to the quality of the writing and the stories and the books and the characters, and it just seems to capture people's imaginations and their hearts from around the world, from every generation, from every background. Which I don't think we were surprised at, but I think we all sort of expected that the fan flame might start dwindling as the years went on, and clearly it's not the case. Most fans that come and say hello to me now weren't even born when we shot in here 20 years ago, so that's a good sign, I think.
Yeah, how does that make you feel when you think of the magnitude of the Harry Potter brand as such?
It's a bit of both, really. I live a very sort of normal Muggle life, so I honestly I forget how popular it is. It's what's so nice about coming to the studio tour, because don't tell anyone, but I sort of sneak about, not just to see my old stomping ground, but to see the reaction of fans from around the world, and it's the same stunned look on their face, which reminds me of how lucky we are, how lucky I was to be part of it and still celebrating it to the day.
Do you ever sneak around in disguise? Because there's a great clip on YouTube of Arnold Schwarzenegger going under disguise at Gold's Gym in California and then surprising people as a gym attendant. Do you ever do anything like that?
Honestly, I don't need to. Because people are so fascinated with everything around them. Looking at some muggle like me is the last thing they want to do. But yeah, no, I don't go out there to surprise people, but I do it all the time, just to wander about and see what Slytherin goodies they have that I can get for the house. But it's something that's a real treat to see, to have a home like this that not only I get to come back and fanboy over, but a place for Potterheads around the world to be able to come and celebrate their love for the stories. The mandrakes, as we've seen through Harry Potter, the films and the text, are these plant species with almost human characteristics.
I just wanted to ask you, sort of from a behind-the-scenes perspective, how are the magic and spells kind of created offset or behind the cam?
The studio tour in itself is more a tribute to the people that made the films than it is to us. We were simply the kids put in the environment. I mean, asking a kid to act in a place like this is very easy because everything was so interactive and so much fun to play with. I recall. Didn't have this memory until today, but I'm pretty sure that we should have been in here for about 2 days and we were here for more like 3 because of us kids just having too much fun mucking around with the mandrakes and with everything around us. I think people forget as well how much technology has moved on visual effects as the years went on, but what you're seeing now, where you're standing right now, is precisely what it was, and the animatronic mandrakes are exactly as they were back then. So it's a nice nod to time that they haven't improved on doing it this way, and now fans get to have a go themselves.
That must have blown your mind, actually doing it in an environment like this, where you know there's probably a large part of you that believes in the magic and the spells that you're actually involved in creating.
Yeah, it was all done by design, I believe. Like Chris Columbus was a genius of working with youngsters. I mean, none of us were particularly talented. I'm sure the cast won't mind me saying that. But like getting us to react to the Great Hall for the first time, it's quite simple. Don't show us the Great Hall until you want us to react to it. And all of us walking through it for the first time was genuinely the first time we saw it. So I think, having Chris Columbus and Miriam, who played Professor Sprout, they didn't take things too seriously. So we were always allowed to sort of muck about and have fun. It never felt like work, that's for sure. And I think that's the reason why the scenes like the one in the greenhouse are so playful.
What do you remember about meeting Daniel Radcliffe, Rupert Grint and Emma Watson for the first time? And was there an instant camaraderie between you?
No, and we still dislike each other. No, I remember meeting them. I remember meeting them all very vividly. Actually, again, 500 meters from here, not far, and just all being all not thinking much of it. To be honest with you, we were just like hello, and that was the end of it. And then obviously 11 years later, we were still here shooting these films. No one saw us spending so much time together as we did, but yeah, safe to say, ironic and cheesy as it sounds, but we're all family now, Gryffindors and Slytherins alike.
You've got your own book out in October, haven't you, Beyond the Wand, which kind of touches on your own story growing up through Harry Potter, growing up as an adolescent. How have you managed kind of coping with that stardom of being a child star, and do you think it would be any different if social media was, say, 20 years older?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm not sure what wouldn't be different if it was for that. I've got, I suppose the best way to explain it is I've got loving parents. My mum and my dad have always been very supportive, and I have 3 older brothers. So any chance of me getting too big for my boots was not going to happen. It doesn't matter whether I was in the Harry Potter films or not, I still wasn't allowed to sit on the couch or use the TV remote, so kept me grounded. So every day it's a nice reminder that I was part of something that is still cherished to the day.
Absolutely. Tom, it's been an absolute pleasure to speak to you today. Thanks so much for your time.
It's all right.
All the best.
Enjoy the rest of your time at Hogwarts.
I will do. This is the most interesting interview backdrop I've ever had as well.
Yeah, exactly. Who'd ever said this 20 years ago?
I'm usually interviewing boxers who are just standing in front of a wall wanting to punch my head in. This makes a nice change.
Have a change,
Nice change.
You gotta mix it up.
Yeah, and the child within me is
geeking out.
Feels a degree of accomplishment as a result as well.
Yeah, fucking hell, you must be doing something, right?
Absolutely. No, thanks very much.
No worries,
that was
man.
great so much.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks very much.